Our smartphones are amazing. With a few taps, we can check in with our grandkids. We could join a Zoom call. We could look up health information, listen to music, find directions, and even manage our finances. But let's be honest, these devices can also be frustrating, confusing, and even a little scary, especially as updates change things overnight, scams get sneakier, and as my mother will tell you, it feels like you need a PhD just to adjust your hearing aid app. Ugh. So today's episode is about navigating all of that and something deeper. My guest, Anne Goldberg, found her purpose not in a career she trained for, but in one that found her. After years of career reinvention and soul searching, a few unexpected phone calls from older adults needing tech help, Anne found the thing that changed her life and theirs. She now teaches older adults how to use their smartphones, stay safe online, super important, and stay connected to the people and information that matter most. Also, super important. Anne is funny, real, and passionate about helping people age with confidence in this digital age. So, whether you love your phone, hate your phone, or you're just trying to find where the icons move to after an upgrade, stick around. This episode is for you. Hi, I'm Wendy Green, your host for Boomer Banter, where we have real talk about aging well. And my guest today, Anne Goldberg, is a 73-year-old teacher of technology to seniors. In another life, Anne spent 23 years as an executive recruiter, both in New York and Florida, followed by 10 years dedicated to raising her two beloved sons. In a synchronous series of events, Anne was guided to help seniors learn to use technology. You're going to love this title. Take This Phone and Shove It. The book that will be coming out in the next couple of months is a compilation of Anne's classes taught for more than 11 years. It's about how smartphones help seniors to live better, stay connected with friends and family, and improve cognitive skills. And just a reminder that if you would like to stay connected with all of the wonderful guests that we have on Boomer Banter, with the inspirational thoughts that I put into the newsletter every week, you can join our community and subscribe to the newsletter by going to heyboomer.biz and click on Age Well with Us. I would love to have you as part of our community. And as you know, at Boomer Banter, we believe that aging well means living with purpose, and that includes how we manage our money. That's why I trust Greenwood Capital to manage my money. My advisor isn't just someone I hear from once a year. She truly understands my goals and is always available to answer my questions and keep me calm when the market gets bumpy. Purposeful planning is part of how I protect my future and avoid becoming a burden to those I love. Greenwood Capital helps me to make that possible. I want to share that as a sponsor, Greenwood Capital has compensated my business for this testimonial. And for more information about how they can help you make a financial plan for the future, go to greenwoodcapital.com. That's greenwoodcapital.com. Okay, let me bring Anne Goldberg on and you all can meet her. Hello, Anne.
Hi, Wendy. I am so excited to be here.
Oh, me too. I mean, there's a million questions. So I want to start, though, by having you tell me a little bit about your first career and what led you to leave that world behind.
Well, I started recruiting back in the 70s, and when I had children, I decided it was time to leave that behind. And with side projects, I raised my kids for about 10 years and then jumped back into the workforce recruiting again. And it
Okay.
was great. And then 2009 happened.
Mm,
And from 2009 to 2013, that was a difficult time.
a
But
difficult
I
time to
left,
find work. Yeah.
yeah, I left to raise my kids.
Okay. And so did you find when you were recruiting that that gave you a sense of purpose, a sense of meaning?
It gave me a sense of identity, but it did not give me a purpose.
Okay.
It, yeah, was very different.
Mm, mhm. So what happened in 2013?
Well, as I said, the 4 years leading up to it had been very difficult, and on this particular day, I got fired from another job. Most of them I quit. This one I got fired from because I never should have taken it in the first place.
Mm,
And I came home because I was just looking to make money. And
mhm.
I came home and I just said, "That's it. I surrender. I surrender. I don't know how to make money, obviously, and I certainly don't know how to do it doing something that I would love to do. I don't know who would pay me to do
Who
anything.
would pay you? Yeah.
So I'll watch for the signs. Send me signs. I'll be watching. But until then, I'm just going to help my friends. I'd had a friend who had surgery, and I was just going to go and help her out, which I did. It took 10 days for my phone to ring 6 times. And each of the 6 times, the voice on the other end said approximately the same thing.
Okay.
I hear you teach computers to seniors. I don't remember who told me, but I hear you do that, and I was wondering if you could help me. And I never said that to anybody, ever, ever told
You
anybody,
never told anybody you teach computers to
no,
seniors?
no,
Oh,
no.
that's
I
weird.
told somebody I could do them I could do a PowerPoint for them, but that was it.
Wow.
And they all, like I said, they said about the same thing, and none of them could remember where they found out. And at the 6th call, I remember I looked up, I said, "Okay, message received. I'm supposed to teach seniors how to use computers at that moment in space." This
Right.
was 2013, so smartphones were just really becoming generally popular then. They came out in 7 and 8. So,
Right.
yeah, yeah, I mean, they were around before, but it was a mix until I realized smartphones was the way to go. And the minute that I made my first call to my first independent living and said that I teach seniors, I got a job. The first call, and doors just flew open, and it was so obvious I was in my right place. I'll tell you a funny story. I needed back surgery, and I was in a tremendous amount of pain,
Oh,
and I would hobble into the wherever I was teaching, and I would be in enormous pain. I'd stabilize myself, and the class would start, and for 1 hour, I was not in pain.
isn't that something?
It was amazing.
Because you were hyped, you were excited about what you were doing.
I was so hyper focused on teaching, and yes, so excited to be there. And
Yeah.
as soon as the class was over, it was like, "Oy, what is this?"
Oh, so you had to just keep teaching. So let me ask you this. Did you have a background in computers?
No, not in any official way, but I did work on the, old keyboard input key punch computers back in the late 70s, and I was married in the 80s to a man who took to them very early, so I grew up with PCs
Okay.
from the late 80s, and I just always had one, and I was always an entrepreneur and wanting to do things myself, so I'm self-taught. And I've always been good with gadgets, so
Mm,
it's kind of an innate thing for me. And what really distinguishes me from pretty much every other senior who deals with technology is that when my phone does something unexpected, it doesn't scare me. It might
yeah,
piss me off,
that's right.
but it doesn't scare me. It's like, "Oh, okay, what is this?" And I can almost always figure it out, and if not, I know who to ask. I
Yeah.
know where to go. Google.
And that,
I mean,
well, and that's key. That's key, but
Mhm.
I think what you're exactly right. I think that so many people in our age group, when something goes wrong, it's like, "Oh my god, I broke it," or if I try to do anything, it's gonna break. How do you calm people with that, Anne? I mean, that's seems like it's innate to you. How do you calm other people in your classes?
It's absolutely expected that you will feel that way. And a lot of it has to do with them really not knowing the proper gestures to use. So, just as an example, if I'm looking at my phone and I just tap, and a tap is the same kind of thing. You don't have to see my screen, but the tap is the same kind of thing. If you're touching a very hot iron, you want to make sure it's hot. Remember those days? And you would touch it, like barely touch it. That's a tap. However, if they take the same app and they tap and hold for 1 second longer, oh, something different happens. And it's not even a second, it's a millisecond. And when that something different, something unexpected happens, it's terrifying.
It is.
What did I do? What did I do? But you didn't do anything. That's the beauty. You did nothing. All you did was give a different command. You didn't realize you gave a different command to the phone, but that's what happened because its language is gestures. That's why they're called touch screens, because we touch them to communicate with the phone. And the only thing that bypasses the gestures is when you say either Hey Siri or Okay Google, and then you direct the phone verbally.
So its language is gestures, which is certainly something that none of us grew up with. We grew up with typewriters, so making the switch to an electronic keyboard or whatever, a keyboard on a computer was not as difficult.
Right, right, because the keyboard stayed the same. We grew up in an era of buttons and
Yep.
levers. That's
Yep.
what turned everything, and typewriters were still buttons. The electric was softer. They were so nice. And, then we moved, like you said, a keyboard, it's exactly like it is. And in point of fact, the phones have the same keyboards now. When it was really difficult was in the flip phones and the cell phones
Right.
where the keyboard was like telephone pad. And if you wanted to say, call me, you had to go to the ABC button and go boom, boom, boom. And if you wanted it capital, you had to go boom, boom, boom. And then you had to go boom, boom. And then you had to stop, let it reset. And then, and it
Uh,
was
yeah,
such a pain in the neck. Whereas smartphones, they have that typewriter keyboard. So
they
those of
do.
us who were touch typists, that's not as difficult to transition because at least you know where the numbers and letters are.
Okay, so I have to ask you this. Like, you watch the kids on the keyboards, it's all the thumbs, right? I'm with my one finger, right? Do you know anybody in our age group that's thumb typing?
I have not seen maybe one person, maybe one, but they were in the very young end of the age group. I am like this, and I am not gonna do this, and besides which, I don't want the repetitive motion issues that happen with this. I'm happy with my fingers, but the young people use that to identify us boomers because we are
I know.
evil.
I know. My kids make fun of me. I'm like, "Oh, well, so that I still get it done. It may not be as
Right.
fast, but I still get it done." So what are some of the things that you find really like the most questions or most confusing for people that you teach?
Most confusing is how how to answer a call or what to do when you're on a call and the phone rings.
Oh, another call comes in.
Yeah, another
Mm.
call comes in, and, I think that's part of it, but I think really the solution, what's most confusing, I'll say this, is to learn to read the phone screen. So when my phone is up here and let's say I open an app, even if it's my phone app, and if I start looking at every icon and even touching them, what happens? What happens if I touch here? Oh, look, the screen changed. I could see that, but I could touch here again and it goes away. And what happens if I touch here? And oh, the screen changed, but I can touch there again. Oh, I can't see a thing. I touch there again
And
and
comes back.
it goes back. So when you read the screen, you will likely find the answer to your question. It's just that in my experience, approximately 99% of seniors that I teach, I'm talking 75 to 90, forget the English language when they're looking at a phone screen because they can go through adding a contact and then no first name, last name, fill all that. Now they're done. What do I do?
Mm-hmm.
Look at the screen. What do you see? And depending on the program, if you start in the top right, you might see the word done here. And they'll say, there's nothing done. And then they keep reading the screen. I say,
Okay.
what does done mean? Forget the
Right.
phone. What does done mean? Finished. I said, are you finished doing what you're doing? Yes. So you're done, right? Yes. Tap done.
Tap done.
And I'm telling you, much every senior, it's a point of amusement. And I laugh with it
Mm.
because for me, it's not the phone, but it's something else that I could look at it and not understand, even though it's English. It's
Yeah.
certain medical journals. That's something else.
I is
That's really there's such a fear associated with the phone that it shuts the brain down. And I'm
well,
all about waking it up.
waking it up. That's good. Okay, so we're sitting in your class and you've got people with iPhones and people with Androids.
Yeah.
They're to me they're very different. I mean, I have an Android, my mother has an iPhone. I can mostly find my way around the Android. But when I go and help her, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, how do I do this? Where's that?" And how do you do that with two different operating systems in one class?
Well, the first thing I do when I introduce the subject, I ask the question. I distinguish how the phones are different. And by that, I'll use the metaphor of a gas engine and an electric engine on
Mm,
cars.
mhm,
The gas engine is designed this way, but when you get into the driver's seat, dashboard is designed, and depending on who made the car, it's got a particular design. When you get into an electric car, the insides are completely different, but you open the door, you get in, there's a steering wheel, does the same thing. Dashboard's different.
mhm,
They're different operating systems. So Android has the Android operating system, and iPhones have the Apple iOS operating system. And if you understand that, you understand that they both do the same things, but just like brands, they do them differently. When you go into Public or you go into Aldi's, those are very different shopping experiences. But the end product is you leave with a shopping cart full of food.
yeah, yeah.
So that's the first thing. And once they understand that, I can say, all right, everybody, open up your email app. And I'm dealing then usually with Gmail or Apple Mail.
Mm,
So I'll say, how do you write a mail? And I walk around the room with Apple. You're going to look for the spot up here. And I'll take somebody's Android, people with an Android. Androids are all different because they all have different dashboards. Because Androids are made by lots of different companies.
that's right.
Motorola, LG, Samsung is the biggest, and hundreds of others that are around the world.
Mhm,
Apple is only Apple.
mm.
And every Apple device with each update looks the same, operates pretty much the same, especially the tablet and the iPhone.
Oh.
So when you're teaching Androids, even if you're in a class of only Android, if people have, even if they have all Samsung and they have different models, the phones are going to be different. Not everything is in the same place. Not everything looks the same, but I know what I'm looking for. And I can always search. I use the search function. If I don't know what it is, I ask the phone, how do I do this? Or Siri, open up this app, such and such app, if I don't know where it is on the phone.
Oh.
Or, okay, Google, open this app.
But okay, Google, you have to have it open or something because mine doesn't always okay Google. I have to
You have to set your voice. So you have to
yeah.
go into settings. So now I don't have an Android, but I know 100% you're going to have to swipe up, or if you have settings on your home screen or on your main phone, open settings, and at the top, there's a search bar.
Mm.
And I would say, face, I type in the word face and see what comes up. And probably they'll have face recognition or something like that. And you go, yeah, that's what I want.
Okay. Or voice
And
or something. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, whatever it is
Interesting.
you're trying to accomplish,
Yeah.
ask the phone itself.
Okay, I'm gonna have to remember that. I think my mom is listening, so when we need to adjust her hearing aid, we're gonna say,
What
"Hearing aid app,
brand hearing aid
Siri."
does she have?
Oh, I don't know.
She might have Widex, or she might have, I can't remember, Signal or something, Insignia like I have. You can just say, okay, Google, open the Signia app. Or, oh, she has an iPhone. Hey,
Okay,
Siri,
Siri.
open the Signia app.
Oh my gosh. You
And
have
here's
just
another
saved
thing.
us so much time, Anne, because we're like doing this, going through.
Okay, so here's another thing you can do. You
That's what we're
swipe
Yep,
left until you get to this screen.
yep.
That's all the apps. There's a
That's what
search
we've been
bar.
doing.
And that's a perfectly acceptable way when you can't when you don't know where an app is, don't even bother looking for it. Swipe either that or ask Siri to open it for you.
Okay, so here's something that happens to all of us, right? Like if we use, say, that okay Google or Siri app all the time, don't talk to me. My phone's trying to talk to me now. um, then that becomes easy. We're used to it. But an app that we don't use all the time, like WhatsApp, right? So we use that to talk to relatives overseas. But when you don't use it all the time, like how do you get your students to remember those things that you teach them when they're not using them all the time?
Well, first of all, what I tell them and what I say in the book is I'm a great teacher.
Uh-huh.
That's only a piece of the equation. For you to learn, you have to practice.
Mm.
And that's the same method of learning since we're babies. A baby doesn't stand up one day and know how to walk, right? We've
Mm.
all watched them practice, practice, practice until they found their balance. And it is the same thing with forming new memories. It's the whole science of neuroplasticity, that the brain will expand the more it's used,
Mm.
and it will shrink the less it's used. So if you really want to learn WhatsApp, you'll truly learn it when you just use it more. It's a wonderful app. And one of the things that is really good about it is that you can have group chats that show up differently and don't blow up your text messages in the same way.
Mhm.
And as you said, you can video conference. WhatsApp, if you and your mom want to video conference each other,
Mhm.
okay, you're going to use WhatsApp
Mhm.
because she can't use FaceTime because you don't have an iPhone, and
Right.
you can't use Google Meet because she doesn't have Google Meet
Right.
on her
Right.
phone. So you're going to use an app like WhatsApp, third-party app, where you can either call or video chat, which is the umbrella term for FaceTime, which is a trademark term, kind of like cotton swabs and Q-tips.
Okay. Okay.
So WhatsApp
And
is a terrific, and the more you use it, the easier it will be to use. That's just how
for
it is.
sure. And the other nice thing about WhatsApp is you can talk, like if you travel, you can talk back home without having
Mhm.
to buy a special service for your phone, and there's no
That's right.
charge, and
That's
it,
right.
it's
There's a
cool.
caveat to that, though, because it needs to be on a Wi-Fi network.
Mm.
That's the
Okay.
caveat.
Okay. Good. I
So
didn't know that.
yeah. So it's great if you're in a hotel, a coffee shop, or something like that. But if you're not getting roaming data, you're not going to have the signal that's going to drive the WhatsApp.
Okay. All right. Good to know. So we've kind of talked a lot about how the phone is um, it's a great connectivity tool, right? And the more comfortable we get with it, the more we overcome our fear. But let's talk about staying safe on the phone because,
Mm.
oh
Mhm.
my gosh, Anne,
Mhm.
the text messages that are coming in
Mhm.
now are
Mhm.
like every
They're
day.
wild. Yeah. Multiple a day.
Yeah.
Multiple. So this is what I have to say about that. Let's say you're walking down the street and you stop, you're looking in a store window, and somebody taps you on the shoulder and says to you, Wendy. You're like, huh? How do you know my name? I've got an investment deal for you. And he goes through a litany of this and that. Are you going to give him any money? Are you, are you going to engage with him? No, of
No, right.
course not. It's a complete stranger. What if a complete stranger said to you, tapped you on the shoulder and said, hey, Wendy, I saw you. I don't know if you're married. I saw you on some dating program. You have a profile. And he says, I really like you, Wendy. We have a lot of the same interests. I think you're incredible and special.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do? Is that somebody you would date who tapped you on the shoulder and started talking like that? I, for one, would be scared to death.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know who I am? Okay. So take that innate distrust of the stranger and apply it now to your cellular world. Any text that comes in that isn't from your doctor's office or something you absolutely know is real because you just were there, or a website where you bought something and now they're coming in and asking you for a review. I have a thought about that in a minute too. I don't care if it's your bank, you ignore. Your investment company, you ignore. And what you do is you either call your bank, or if you're comfortable going online, you get the address online, the URL, the internet address online, go online, log into your account, or go on your phone and log into your account and know there's nothing wrong. Microsoft does not monitor its 1.2 billion computers on the planet. Costco isn't texting you if you owe them anything. The post office doesn't have your phone number. And my God, they barely have the manpower to deliver the mail. You think they're making phone calls?
I know.
I actually had a FedEx package that I forgot was coming to me, and I got a notice from FedEx says, track your package here. I deleted it. And then package. Because if I really was curious, I would have gone to FedEx and figured out how to find out if there was a package coming to me, but I would not engage with that.
So the
So,
bottom
and
line is, if you get a text, even if it looks legit, it's your bank, it's Costco, it's Amazon, it's, if it looks legit, still don't click on it.
Nope.
Call, find out if that's really them.
Absolutely. And the same with email. There's no job offers coming to you. There's none of that. No police are coming after you. The IRS, you think the IRS can send you a text? They have the manpower to do that? It's obscenely absurd.
Right.
So it's about fear. And I'll tell you a very interesting statistic. Young people are scammed more often than seniors. Seniors lose much more money because we have more
Oh,
assets. Isn't that interesting?
that is
I have,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a crazy world out there. But the safest thing you can, and this is my policy, I do not engage. Just the same as I wouldn't engage with that stranger tapping me on the shoulder, I do not engage with emails or texts or phone calls from people that I don't know who they are. And this goes back 30 years when I bought a house, and the local fence company and the lawn company, and they would all start calling, and I would say, I'm sorry, you have a tough job, but I don't deal with unsolicited businesses. I'll look you up online. If you're somebody I want to work with, I'll let you know.
So that's
20 years ago.
unusual, because what I keep reading about why so many people get scammed is because we are a trusting generation. We grew up to be polite and we
Yes.
trust the neighbors. And so we're easier to target, and
Polite.
we're polite, and it's fearful. If you get a message from your bank that says you have overdrawn, you're going to be like, oh my God, what's
Nope.
happening?
See, and what I'm saying is when you see that text, don't go, oh my God. Go, okay. Well, this means I need to either call or go online to my bank and take a look at my account.
Mhm.
Delete it. Just delete it. Block it. Report it as spam. Get rid of it. Do not engage with an unsolicited contact. And I'm going to give you the best tip for grandparent scams, which could also be brother scams, nephew scams, parent scams, children. I mean, it can be anything. Create a family password.
So what is
And
that?
you and your immediate group, anybody that you would respond to like that. And so then if you get a call and it absolutely sounds like your kid because artificial intelligence has cloned his voice or her voice or your grandkid and really sounds like it, So all you have to do is say, "Oh, gee, honey, tell me the password." They don't know it.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
you're going to go, "Goodbye, sucker," and hang up the phone or boom,
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
Okay. You do not engage. And another way to know if you don't have a family password, the minute he says, "I need you to send me the money through Bitcoin or Western Union."
Mm.
Western Union is non-returnable. Once you wire somebody through Western Union, you cannot get it back.
Mm.
Gift cards are non-returnable. So these methods of payment are felonious in and of themselves. I hope that's a word. In and of themselves, because my kid wouldn't be calling me and asking me for Bitcoin. They say, "Mom, can you sell me some money right away?"
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what they would say. So,
So the
you know,
grandparent scam is what? Tell me how that works, Anne.
you answer the phone and it's, in this case, grandparent. It's your grandson. And in days before AI, the connection was bad. So, grandma. Now I would know right away because I'm not grandma. My kids don't call me that. I have a
Okay.
different name. So as
Okay.
soon as I would hear grandma, I would know this is a scam.
Uh-huh.
But moving right, so anybody whose name is not grandma,
Yeah.
right away, that's a key. But if they go by, if you are grandma and I'm in trouble. I had a car accident, and you can't quite hear, and you can the voice, they're static. I need you to send me money, and that's where it starts.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
people who trust everything, who live from that place, especially 80 plus years old, especially, are
Mhm.
very vulnerable to this type of manipulation.
Mhm.
So that's why having a password with your children, your grandchildren who are old enough to be out and about. My 5-year-old doesn't need to know a password,
Yeah, right. He's not calling by himself. Yeah.
but my kids, we have a family password. My husband, his son, we have a family password. So if anything were to happen and I got a call and alleging to be my husband, I would say, "What's
Mhm.
the password, babe?" And
Hmm.
if he didn't know it, I'd be, "Goodbye, Charlie."
All right, that's good
Okay.
advice. That's good
Mhm.
advice. So, y'all listening, don't click on a link,
Don't
check it
engage.
out first. Don't engage, right? And have a family password. So, in case somebody's trying to scam you, you can just quickly get off the phone. And I would probably follow up and call my daughter or something and
Mhm.
say, is your daughter out of town? Is she whatever? Yeah, check him out.
She's in the living room watching television.
Right.
Yeah,
Did she just call me? No.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
just bogus.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, just think of these intrusions as strangers wanting your money.
Mm.
That's it. That's all they are. They're strangers wanting your money.
And
And
like we
I
taught our
I have
kids,
seen
strangers are bad. Don't talk to
I,
strangers.
the emails that are coming in, past due amount.
Mhm.
I mean, and all kinds of things. That one of them, I had to really look at it. And I said, "This is bunk. I no." And I block them. I report them as spam all the time.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. People are evil out there doing that stuff. So take this phone and shove it. You're you're teaching people to love their phones. Where did you come up with that name?
Because that's how they feel about them. I do want to take you from wanting to shove your phone to wanting to love your phone. That's my goal. But somebody buying the book is because they hate their phone. They hate it, but they have to have it because their kids make them have it.
So how's it going to help me if I have this book?
Well, oh, lots of ways, but I want to give a statistic before I promote my book.
Okay.
They did a meta study of 400,000 60 to 80-year-olds, and they were actually looking for proof of digital dementia, that staying on the phone a lot would like fry your brain.
Hmm.
What they found, however, was that those seniors who were daily engaged with a smartphone, tablet, or computer were 58% less likely to get dementia. Wrap your brain around that.
Huh.
58% less likelihood of losing your marbles. That's
Because
that's the beauty of engaging with technology, because your brain is making decisions with every move you make. You're
mm,
stimulating your mind. It's like running a marathon for your
hmm.
brain.
Okay.
And so, why do you buy my book, and what will my book do for you? First of all, it will give you perspective. Like, how did we get here? Like, not long ago, I had a phone like this, in
Right?
my kitchen, and then it was that portable phone that
A
was
big
really
clunky thing.
great. As long as you were 1,000 feet from the base, it was great. And then it started to change. Technology started to change. So I go through and reminisce of what it was like growing up in the 50s,
Mm,
largely,
mhm.
and what it is today. And what was this progression of technology? How did we get here? And then once those points have been made, there's a chapter on the obstacles to learning, and I address all of the things that we've been talking about here. And then it goes into lessons. It's introducing how do you turn the phone on and off, both Android and iPhone, and how do you use Siri? What's artificial intelligence? The basic acts. I have one chapter that's about 150 pages and about 180 images
Oh, wow.
that goes through what's an email, and it's both Gmail and Apple Mail, texting, which covers not only text messages, but WhatsApp, and the clock app, which is for me the greatest thing on my phone because I'm not late for appointments usually when I have my clock app because I set timers and alarms. So I want everybody to know that. And the GPS, because if you're out and
Mhm.
about mobile, you need to know how to use your GPS because it's life changing. So, and then lots of other tips and tools on how to use, enjoy, and stay safe online.
I love it. And there's a lot of humor built into it as well,
Yeah,
correct?
take this phone and shove it.
I
And there's
know.
a lot of support because I know you can do it if you put your mind to it and you practice as if you were learning an instrument. You spend 5 or 10 minutes a day doing the same thing again and again until all of a sudden you go, oh, wait, I know that.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter if it takes you 3 days, 2 days, or 2 weeks. It doesn't matter. As long as you keep doing it, your brain will respond at some point with a new memory and a new skill.
And you'll know where to look for it if you do forget. The phone,
Right.
your book, or your website, which is also called take this phone and shove it .com. And on there's videos and there's, all kinds of other ways that you can engage with Anne. So take this phone and shove it. Nobody's going to forget the name of that. That's because we say it, right? We're like, yes, take this phone and shove it. So I'm sure that you laugh every day about those kinds of things.
I do. I do. And that's another thing. Like, my parents have been gone for 20, 30 years,
Mm.
30 and 40 years. I love working with people older than me. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. And when I see this, then I know I made a good impression on somebody because I
Yeah.
changed something for them where they just light up and oh my God, that's how it is. So I
Yeah.
just love that.
And they know that you understand because you're one of them too. So, it's kind of like, well, if she can do it, maybe I can do it too.
Yep. And you
And
can. You absolutely can. I believe in you.
thank you. So, Annie, where can they find your book? Is it out yet? What are we doing here?
Well, we've had a few months of delays in graphic design, and that's okay. Everything is in its proper order. The best way to know that when the book is out is to go to my website, takethisphone.com, and sign up for the newsletter. Um, the newsletters will only contain tips and tools to help you with your smartphone and will let you know when the book is available. It will be on Amazon. It will be in Barnes and Noble
Oh,
and
nice.
hopefully in bookstores everywhere through my distribution platform. So that is the best way. Just sign up for the newsletter. And until then, you're going to get useful information for you, but I won't bombard you with it, I promise.
And if they wanted to take a class with you, are you teaching locally, online? How does that work?
I do private lessons in Broward and Palm Beach County,
Mhm.
and you can call me 954 536 8008. I'll say that one more time 954 536 8008. And we can talk about how I can meet your needs to learn your device.
Okay. And so there could be some Zoom trainings that might be available.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Zoom, Microsoft Teams. I mean, it's good to know all of them because
Mhm.
the Zoom platform's not the best to use anymore.
Oh, okay. All right. Fantastic. Let me remind people to also sign up for my newsletter. Go to heyboomer.biz and click on Age Well with Us. We will also give you tips about aging well, not about using your phone very much, but
Your newsletter is great, Wendy. You write beautifully.
oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, I read it.
Oh, thanks. I enjoy doing it. It really is fun. And I also want to thank our sponsor, Greenwood Capital, for sponsoring this podcast. They are an independent registered advisory firm providing wealth management, investment solutions, and financial planning to clients in 23 states. So that also, one of the things that we're doing here is, I have this collaboration group of women podcasters talking to the over 55 to 60-year-old age group. And this month, I am paired with Fading Memories podcast, and it is put out by my friend Jennifer Fink. And on that, Jennifer has walked in these shoes of caring for her mother through her dementia. And so she discusses brain health recommendations, effective caregiving techniques, and self care strategies, all crucial for aging gracefully and navigating the challenges of being a caregiver. So check her out at fadingmemoriespodcast.com. I also want to tell you next week, we are not going to have a show because I'm going to the beach with my sweetie. So I'll be at the beach over the weekend and then through Monday. So I'm taking Monday off. Yes, I'm looking forward to that. But I will be back on the 28th of July, and it's going to be an interesting show. It's something called three-wheel therapy. It's with a man named Bill Seppi, and their mission is to provide free therapeutic bicycle rides on what they call an adaptive tricycle to anyone who cannot ride a traditional bicycle. So Bill's wife and he used to ride together all the time. She had a stroke. She couldn't ride. Now he can ride her and ride with her again on this 3-wheeled tricycle called three-wheel. It's called 3-wheel therapy. So that should be an interesting show. Thank you, Annie.
Oh, it's
I'm
so much
sorry.
fun.
I
This
should
was
call you
great.
Anne. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We're friends now.
We're friends now. I know. So thank you all, my listeners too, for tuning in each week. And until next week, I'm Wendy Green, and this has been Boomer Banter.